I'm curious about this almost theme through your life, because you're reading Shakespeare at way too young an age, then you're repurposing Shakespeare for the great opera, and now you're retelling Romeo and Juliet as this lifelong journey of a Shakespeare fan. Without spoiling, how is the hardcore fan and you feel dedicated to stick to the text? Do you want a one-to-one character? Here's the nurse character. Is it a priest, monk, the dude with the poison?
Yeah.
Friar, some kind of dude.
Friar. Yeah,
it's been a minute. Do you feel that pressure to do a one-to-one representation of everything? Or are you okay with just more of a general? That's the spirit of my question.
Yeah. So, I like to dabble in both the literal interpretation as well as more thematic. And I've done that through other books too, like Monstrous and Ravenous were retellings of fairy tales, sort of. Like Monstrous was Frankenstein meets the Brothers Grimm, and Ravenous was Hansel and Gretel meets Baba Yaga. But neither of them were faithful to those original narratives. It was very much more of an inspired by type of a twist on those things. But Twin Daggers is more closer to the original in that it didn't start out that way necessarily. It started out more inspired by, and then eventually realized it was going to become stronger if I made it more grounded in it a bit more. But it started out very much more of a thematic inspiration with those, the idea of the two warring factions that sort of push and pull, and people are not necessarily what you expect underneath, and that sort of a thing, the star-crossed lovers idea. And then eventually it morphed into, I need to revise this. I forget what number revision, but it was somewhere around 20. It's like, need to add some more bones to this. And went back through Romeo and Juliet and did a little chart of, scenes that are important and things that I wanted to pull into there, and how I could reflect them into the book if they weren't already there, how they tying them together, like what was already there, what was missing and needed some gaps. And also making sure that if there were any themes that I was missing, or like motifs of things, like one motif in particular I kind of wove in a little bit more, and the last one was like that love is really brutal. It can be a brutal, unkind sort of a thing. It's not necessarily the happily ever after and the happy experience. It could be, a brutal, terrible thing to fall in love with somebody. And in Asa, the main character's experience, that's exactly what it is. She's like, oh no, what? Well, this is terrible that I'm starting to have feelings for this guy. What the heck? And it's kind of takes you by surprise. So that was it. I've done both. For this one, it's a little bit more, I'm not going to say rigid, because that's not, it's a loose retelling. But there's definitely the similar archetypes throughout, and there's no character I would say is specifically the nurse. Though there is one one is kind of like the friar, sort of loosely. But the most important ones really are Romeo and Juliet archetypes for the characters.
So the Shakespeare fans will be both satisfied and pleasantly surprised then.
Exactly. And there's a sequel, which there's not to Romeo and Juliet. So.
Well, not yet.
Yeah. That's true. I can write another opera.
There you go. This is your time.
Totally.
Shakespeare fans have waited centuries now?
Centuries. Yep. Totally.
So now you're here. Step up to the plate and give us the sequel we needed.
Right. I'll do my best.